We're going to continue where we left off with the last video in our one-point interior. This time we're going to add a bed and a desk and a chair. Those might be broken into several different videos, but when this is finished, you'll have an interior room with window, door, bed, desk, chair that you can then change and modify to make it look more interesting than just the basic boxes that we're going to be starting with. So again, in the last video, I created my horizon line, which is my eye level as the viewer and the artist. I put in my vanishing point right in the center. I constructed a wall around the back of my room, in this case, that had straight horizontals and straight verticals. And then I extended that out in 3D space, created a door, and two different windows. You can all revisit that in the previous one-point interior video. I'm going to add a bed to it now, and the bed is going to be on the left side of my room, and it's going to extend over towards the door. I'm going to start with a headboard, or the backing board that the bed rests against. So it's going to be flush with the wall, but basically it's going to be a tall, skinny box that goes back in 3D space. So on my left-hand wall, I'm going to put my ruler on my paper. I'm going to go a little bit over from the edge of my paper, and I'm going to draw a straight vertical that goes down underneath, that doesn't touch my horizon line, underneath my horizon line, and goes down until it hits my converging line of my floor in this bedroom. And then I'm going to extend it over into 3D space. So to do that, I'm just again starting in the same way I did with my one-point boxes, where the bottom of that vertical met my converging line back. I'm going to do a horizontal straight over, just a little one, and I'm going to do the same thing at the top. So in one-point perspective, the side that faces us, or the side that's kind of closest to us as the viewer, has straight verticals and straight horizontals. The other sides converge back in space. So where I left those two verticals hanging out, I'm going to draw another, horizontals hanging out. I'm going to draw another vertical that connects the two. So I've got this really tall, skinny box that I made with straight verticals and straight horizontals. That's the side that faces me as the viewer. Now this other side is going to converge back into 3D space towards my vanishing point. So the bottom right-hand corner of my box I just made, I'm going to line that up with my vanishing point in the center with my ruler, and I'm going to draw a line back. I don't want it to go all the way till it touches the back wall. I'm going to have it stop before that. I'm going to do the same thing now for the top right-hand corner. The top right-hand corner of that box lines up to my vanishing point in the center of my paper, and I'm drawing back towards that vanishing point. Same thing now for my top left. Top left is going to line up with my vanishing point in the center again, and I'm going to draw back. Now that I have those lines going back in space, I'm the artist. I get to decide how big or wide this tall, skinny box is going to be. So wherever that's going to be, I'm going to just connect these with a vertical. So those line up my ruler. Again, that's parallel to my picture plane. And I'm going to draw a vertical that connects those two converging lines. And then to finish off the top, I'm going to do a horizontal straight over. So horizontal. That's parallel to my horizon line that goes and connects those. And then I can always erase my extra lines and these little interior lines. I can erase those out too. Since this is the headboard, then you wouldn't see the line of the wall in between there. So that's the headboard to my bed. Now I need to have the actual bed, the part that I would sleep on if this was a real room, that's going to extend out into 3D space. And I always start with the side that technically faces me in the perspective drawing. And that's this side that comes out from the bed. So I'm going to take this line that I made, this horizontal at the bottom of that tall skinny box, that's my headboard. I'm going to line my ruler up with that. I'm just going to extend it out farther. I'm going to go out farther, but I'm going to have it stop before it goes underneath my vanishing point. I don't want it to go directly underneath my vanishing point, or I can't see that side that converges back. So it might be a skinny bed, that's okay. I'm not worried about that right now. Again, this is just for practice to learn the basic techniques. So now I need to just make this a box that has straight horizontals and straight verticals again, because it's the side that faces me in 1-point perspective. So I'm going to go up from that bottom line a bit, maybe about halfway on my tall skinny box here. And I'm going to do another horizontal that's again parallel to my vanishing point up top. I'm going to draw that over. Again, I'm making just a big box on this side. And then I'm going to draw a vertical that connects those two lines that I just drew. And then so you can see this a little bit clearer, I'm going to erase out the bottom of my headboard. And that's just because I want you to be able to see that this is a solid box that's going to go back in space then. So the side of my bed basically. So just like I did with this box here, when I made this box that was my headboard, I'm going to take these 3 corners and I'm going to converge them back to my vanishing point. So I'm going to start with the bottom right point. And you're going to see that the closer I get to my vanishing point, the less I see of that side that's going back in space. The farther away it is from my vanishing point, the more I see of the side that converges back in space. So I'm lining up that bottom right-hand corner with my vanishing point in the center, and I'm drawing a line back. And I might go through the wall line. I can erase off my extra bits later. I'm going to take the top of this square that I made that's the side of my bed, the top right corner. I'm going to line that up with my vanishing point in the center. And I'm going to again draw back. It's okay if I have the extra, it'll be fine. Do the same thing now for my top left corner of that box that I made. It's going to line up with my vanishing point in the center. And this time I'm only going to draw it back until it meets the other side of my headboard. My bed is not going to extend any farther back than that. So now what I have to do is finish off the top of this box, which would be the top of the bed where my character or whoever's going to live in this scene would lay down, and the side of my bed, the side that technically faces the door. So to do the top part, to finish off the top part, all I have to do is add a horizontal straight across that starts where that converging line met my vertical on my headboard. It's parallel to my horizon line, or as close as I can make it. And it's going to stop when it hits the other converging line. So again, I'm going to erase out my floor back here that I constructed and the other parts of that headboard, just so that you can see this as a solid shape to the bed. Then all I have to do now for this side is to drop a vertical straight down where the horizontal just met that converging line. So where those two met, I'm going to do a vertical that's straight up and down or parallel to my picture plane, and I'm going to drop down a vertical until those two converging lines meet. And then I can erase off my extra. And that's a basic bed. It's just a box with a box coming out of it. And then later on, you can always add things to it, like a pillow, some blankets, something to make it look a little bit more visually interesting.